Hey, this is Alex with the Unbiased Trailblazer podcast. Make sure you follow us on Spotify so you can listen to every new podcast we publish. Also, follow us on Twitter at Unbiased Blazers. In there's a link in our bio for our Discord so you can join and give us your takes or questions, whatever it is you want us to talk about on the podcast. Now, let's get to the show. Rip City, baby.
Rip City, there's no pity. We stay litty. Jaguar. Red city. Red city. Hand down, man down. I set it off for B-Town. Hand down, man down. I set it off for B-Town.
Rip City, let me hear you. That was a huge game 4, what we've been waiting to see all series long, essentially. Welcome to episode 4 of the Unbiased Trailblazer. We're down a man. We don't have Mike here. It's just me and Fawad today. So we're going to get into this game 4 recap and, complete opposite feeling from the other night. We feel so excited, so happy. It was so much more fun to watch, more enjoyable. So let's get into it right away. Let's just jump in because I'm excited. We smoked Denver. The score doesn't even compare to how much we destroyed them. It's 115-95. That's still a 20-point win, but it was much worse than 20 points.
Yeah, it was 30 until the fourth quarter when the bench came in.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much from after the first quarter, it was over. We were foot on the gas, which is nice to see that we never let up. So 115-95, win by 20. Let's go ahead and start off with probably the biggest thing, Norman Powell. Fawad, I'm gonna let you go. You go for it.
He was phenomenal. I've talked about him in probably almost every episode by now. First two games, I was pretty disappointed. Last game he came out, I was just 18 points. I was really happy and I was efficient too. Today he had 29. He was carrying the scoring load for the vast majority of the game. 11 for 15, and I think 1 or 2 were like right in the fourth quarter when it didn't even matter anymore. So he for the majority of the game, I think he only missed one shot. 11 for 12, maybe 11 for 13. His defense was good. He locked down Michael Porter Jr. Didn't even let him get up more than I think 3 shots. Yeah, he finished with 3 shots only. Just a flawless performance on both ends.
The energy that he brought from the get-go, I mean, you could tell the moment the game started, he was in it. The first just couple possessions, just watching him running around, flying around, and like you said, limiting Michael Porter Jr. to 3 shots is insane.
That's insane.
23 minutes of playing and he shot 3 times. I mean, Norm was all over the place offensively, just driving. I think let me look real quick. He was 4 of 4 from 3. He didn't miss a single 3. I mean, he played about as good as you could play. It was beautiful to watch. 29 points, like you said, 11 of 15 shooting. Without a doubt, I would say that's his best Blazer game ever. I mean, he was just...
I think it's not even close.
He was just... everything we needed, he had. And one of the reasons why is the next thing. Dame struggling with his shooting. Go ahead, tell me what you thought about it.
If we lost, it would have been a different story. But this game, I thought for the most part, he was taking good shots. I think he took a couple contested mid-ranges too many, maybe like 1 or 2 too many. But for the most part, I thought his shot selection was fine. They just weren't falling. But he found other ways to get involved. He had 10 assists. He was 8 rebounds, so 2 away from a triple-double. He was finding other ways to impact the game. And when his shot wasn't falling, I noticed him step up a little bit more on the defensive end, especially on Campazzo, which is also easier for him to guard anyways. But I saw him showing a lot more effort and energy, and I think that really helped us as well.
I mean, if you just look at his plus minus, it tells you how good he was doing on the defense.
Yeah, game high plus minus 33.
Yeah, I mean, shooting 1 for 10 and you're still plus 33. That right there is telling you you're helping your team out more than just on the offensive end. I do think he did force some shots, but I think what he was trying to do was get himself going. So I don't really, especially with us having such a big lead, I don't hate that he's doing that. He's trying to get himself going. I mean, he was 2 rebounds away from a triple double. I think the biggest thing that we can look at for pretty much everybody almost is less minutes that everyone had to play. They got a little rest in this game because they didn't have to play that fourth quarter. Lillard only played 31 minutes, so that's a big plus for Lillard. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I was just saying, yeah, he had a game high plus minus, and you said he was forcing his shot a little bit, but like he only took 10 shots. So if it was a closer game, we want him to take at least like 12 shots before realizing it's not falling, because like sometimes you just gotta shoot your way out of a slump, and like if it was a closer game, I would have wanted him to keep shooting.
For sure. And I honestly don't think his shots were that bad. I think
Yeah,
he just was shooting 1 for 10. I think he was just trying to get himself going and he was taking shots. And I don't fault him for it. I don't think really any of his shots were terrible, especially the range he has. And at any moment, it could flip the switch and make 10 of them in a row. So, I mean, we've seen it before. So, the next thing we got, Nurkic. First off, did not foul out. I know he only played 27 minutes, but he did not foul out. And that's number one right there for me. I think he played great defense. I think he played great offense. I'm going to let you go into it and tell me how you feel.
yeah, Nurk was great. I'm looking at the box score right now. He only had 2 blocks and a steal, but I like watching him. I thought he had like at least 4. His impact on the defensive end felt like completely not just from Jokic having a bad shooting game, but like I thought he was playing great help defense. I think he had stopped what's it called, Aaron Gordon a couple times as well. And then obviously on the offensive end, he had 17 points, which is I think the highest of the series so far for him. Um, Only 1 assist, but I still thought he was getting people involved. Good screens as usual, and he was efficient too. 6 for 8. You know, sometimes he has problems finishing. Like he sometimes needs like a second, third effort, but they were going in like on a good clip today. Um, and he only played 26 minutes and was a plus 32. That's just ridiculous, and it was the second highest of the game. So I think outside of Norm, he probably was the best player.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the start of the game, I think Jokic went 0 for 4, 0 for 5, maybe even more than that. And Nurkic was right in his face pretty much every single possession. And it was exactly what we needed to start the game off. Jokic starting off slow and honestly never really picking it up the rest of the game. I think huge reason why Denver's offense never lifted. And we'll get into that in just a little bit. But I just Nurk played great. I'm so happy he didn't get in foul trouble. I'm everything he did. I feel like he just did exactly what we needed for him to do. Which leads us to something I'm surprised that I'm about to say. CJ McCollum had 8 assists. If
Yeah,
anybody hears that, 8 assists.
that was really great to see. I was like so surprised. He made the right pass like several times throughout the game. That one to Covington was really good as well, as he found him wide open under the basket.
Yes.
Um, 8 assists in 34 minutes was just about as normal, but it's probably like double of his average. So that was really good to see. When we're passing, we almost always win. We still only had 20 team. Oh no, that's okay. We had 24 team assists, which isn't as good as game one, but a lot better than the last few games. So I thought even outside of CJ, the whole team was passing the ball really well today.
Yeah, and if I had to take away just one like small negative is when I notice a lot when the second unit comes in and CJ's normally the one that's in with the second unit, it turns into a lot of ISO basketball, a lot of
Yeah,
just one pass and shoot or one pass dribble in and shoot. And at one point I even heard the announcers from TNT bring that up too, that it turned into ISO ball and actually Denver made a run and kind of caught back up to us and that was the last time it was ever close again. But I mean, even with that, 8 assists, that's more than I can ask for. I'd love just to see 5 assists from him a game. So 8 is awesome. He kind of struggled shooting a little bit. He was 9 of 19. I still think a lot of his shots he took were good shots. So I don't fault him for not shooting well or taking those shots. He just was missing shots. He still ended plus 22, 4 rebounds. Not too many turnovers, I don't think. I don't remember too. If he did have, they weren't very crucial turnovers. I think CJ played really good, and I'm so excited to see 8 assists. It's not too often that I see that, so I get really excited when I see that. I know we
Yeah, and
go ahead.
the only time we ever see CJ get like that high assist numbers, either Dame's not playing or he's having a bad game.
Yep.
So to see Dame have 8 assists as well, and CJ had 8, that's just like we won't lose many games if that happens.
I mean, if you really sit back and think about it, we pretty much were up 30 points for majority of the game. 25, 30 points. If you think Lillard had 10 points at the end of the game, shooting 1 of 10, and we are up by 30 points, that just tells you how much everybody else around him picked him up, and which is what I talked about. I think in game 2 when he went crazy in the second quarter, and then the third and fourth quarter he kind of cooled off and couldn't score as much. And I said everyone kind of needs to gather around him and pick him up and be able to carry the team. That's what happened today, and this is the type of game that you have to from the get-go put them down and don't let them back, and we did that. So it was great to see. So I want to ask you this. Do you think our defense was better, or do you think Denver just had a bad shooting night?
I think it was a little bit of both. Our defense was definitely better than normal, but I do think that, especially in the first half, that we were giving them a fair bit of open shots and they were missing. And then in the second half, I thought our defense was better as a whole. And then like the only time I really felt like we were giving up too many open shots was the Campazzo threes, but he was so brick all night. So I think they knew that they were willing to live with him shooting it. And by that time, it was a 30-point game anyway, so it didn't even matter. But our defense was improved overall, but I hope that we can either be better or at least keep up the same level for the next 2 to 3 games. Hopefully only 2.
Exactly. I think without a doubt we have to at least come out with the same amount of defensive pressure that we did this game. There were times that we relaxed and they'd come back, and then we'd kind of clamp back up. And yes, they were missing shots, but I do also think we were playing much better defense than we normally do. And I mean, just to show you how bad they were shooting, they were 13 of 44 from 3. That's 20. That's not even 30%. That's 29%. So
Wow.
they couldn't hit anything. And so that's one of the reasons why the score was the way it was. But I also think a lot of it had to do with how well we were playing on defense. When there was a help defender, everyone rotated right. I noticed that a lot of times. There wasn't too many times where there was help defense and then there was somebody wide open somewhere. Everything was rotating good. Another thing, and I'm really excited to say, because we talked about this in the Game 3 recap, there was no Kanter at all until the very end when all the subs came in. It's great to see Terry make an adjustment and realize Kanter wasn't getting it done for us, and that Rondae Hollis-Jefferson see what we have there. And I think for the most part, I think Hollis-Jefferson played good. He gave us some good energy. I think he didn't make a very big impact in the game, but I think if Kanter was in there, it would have been a worse impact if Kanter was in there than Jefferson.
Yeah, I saw someone say it on in the game thread on Reddit that like taking Kanter out is a great example of addition by subtraction. Just the fact that he wasn't there was a big bonus for us compared to last game.
Exactly. That's a great point right there. Did you feel like Denver just didn't have energy, like they weren't playing with energy? Or do you think it was just because they were shooting so bad and struggling so much that it just seemed like there was no energy?
That's a good question. I think they definitely did start out with energy, and then I don't know if they like either ran out or they just got deflated by seeing their own shots miss and they're seeing their best player not play well. I know like most teams, even our team especially, like normally they go as their best player goes. If he's playing well, then they have energy. So maybe they saw that Jokic wasn't playing so well, and like whether it was subconscious or just I don't know what happened, they probably felt not as excited, not as into it, not as energetic. And Jokic only had 1 assist, so he wasn't even able to get them as involved to get their rhythm going as well.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a combination of different factors that led to them not being as on top of their game as normal.
Very, very true about the 1 assist. Uh, that's one thing that I love about the Blazers. And for example, game three is a perfect example. We struggled all of game three, but it was a close game. Our team never gives up. We're always fighting. And I feel like it was total opposites. You could see Denver was just kind of like, let's just get this game over with and let's head back home. Whereas we were down that whole game, pretty much game three, and we were clawing and fighting our whole way back. And it's just great to see, and it gives us hope for the next, game five, which I think if we take that game, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I predicted it in 6, so I wouldn't be surprised if we win it in 6. But I think just our fight that we have, even when Lillard's not having a good game, or when CJ's not having a good game, the fight that every other player has, and it's great to see.
Yeah, most of our our rotation is they have a lot of playoff experience by now, and the Nuggets it's pretty much just Jokic, and honestly it's just Jokic that has playoff experience. The rest of their rotation either they were on the bench in the previous runs or they're injured like Will Barton or Jamal Murray. So I think we're more used to handling being down in the playoffs, and they might not have that experience under them yet.
Which you just brought up a good point. Will Barton hasn't been in. I have a feeling from watching him warm up, he might be in game 5, especially with the way they played today. Do you think that's going to make a huge difference for Denver?
I don't want to jinx anything, but I honestly don't think so. It'll be his first game back after like I don't even know how long. He'll probably be rusty. He might not fit back in as smoothly as possible in the first game back. His first game back, maybe in game 6 and or 7 if it gets there. He might be a little bit more of a trouble, but I don't think it'll be too bad next game. Hopefully.
Yeah, I with Barton, playing with Portland for a while, he's a very big boomer bust player. If he's on, he's on, and he's fun
Yeah.
to watch if he's on. But then there's games when he's off, and it's just he still tries to get himself going, and some nights he just can't get himself going. So with that, we're gonna, since it's just a game recap, we're gonna kind of end it short. But I want to go game 5. What do you think are a couple of the big points that we need to focus on game 5?
Really quick before we get to game 5, Mike wanted us to
Oh
shout
yes,
out Melo. He wanted us to say that Melo is the GOAT. And it was his birthday. He had a decent game, hit 2 threes. I definitely contributed to our win.
yeah. Let me say something about Melo real quick. I'm very bad while I'm watching the game of watching Melo take these shots that in my head I'm like, that is a terrible shot, and they
then it
go
goes
in, and I have to sit back and think, he's the 10th leading scorer of all time. There's a reason why he's taking those shots, because he can make those shots. Same way people probably look at Lillard pulling up from half court. We come to know it, and we're like, yeah, that's fine. That's a good shot for him. I gotta retrain my brain that even though I think it's a bad shot for Melo, it's not a bad shot. I think Melo played
Yeah.
pretty damn good today. So Mike,
Mhm.
I apologize. I promise I'll try to not say that he took bad shots, because even though they sometimes I think they're bad, he makes them, so it doesn't matter.
All right, so on to game 5. Sorry, what did you ask me again?
So just a couple key points in your head that you think we need to focus on for game 5.
Okay, so one, um, Dame has to shoot better. Obviously, we won today, so it didn't matter. But if we want to win on the road in Denver, especially where the altitude affects the team, Dame has to shoot better. CJ has to shoot at least the same, but hopefully better as well. And Powell, we can't really expect 29 points again. If it happens, that's amazing. But maybe closer to game 3 if he plays like 18 points on efficient shooting, that would really help us a lot. And something encouraging as a team is that we only shot 36% today. So it wasn't like from 3, not the field. So it wasn't like we were shooting like lights out. So even if I think that's below our average actually. So we should technically be expected to shoot better next game, which is a good sign.
Yeah, I think we still. Honestly, I don't think we've really shot well in the playoffs at all yet from 3. I think it's kind of been a below average series for us from 3.
Yeah.
So that's promising.
Our game 1 was slightly above average. I think
Was
it was
it?
like 47%,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah, then
we've
definitely.
we've been like 43 for the last month or two.
Yeah. So that is promising, and I think game 3 we said if we could just make a couple more threes, that game would have been different. And
Yeah.
tonight we didn't really make any more. I think actually Denver made more threes than we did, and yet it was just how good our
Yeah, they
team
made one more.
played as an overall team. So it was great to see. I think for me, the biggest thing for Game 5, I think, is to try to keep Jokic off to a slow start again. If you can get in his head right from the get-go that it's going to be another long night, I think that's going to help us. If for some reason we can get Michael Porter Jr. to not shoot more than 3 shots again, I think that's a win for us right there. So I don't know how that
Yeah.
happens. I know because he complained last year about not getting shots, and then in this game he only took 3 shots.
Yeah, they talked about that during the game, the commentators.
So I think we play hard like we played this game, and I think the outcome. I mean, I would be surprised if Lillard had 2 bad shooting nights in a row. So I think the outcome's going to be good for us again in Game 5.
And hopefully we keep the turnovers low. We had six turnovers again.
Yep.
I think game 1 was 6 as well.
Yep.
Game 2 was the bad one. And I think 3 was pretty good as well, under our average.
Yeah.
Don't remember off the top of my head.
So with that
So
being
hopefully
said,
that continues.
yeah. With that being said, it was overall great game. I enjoyed it. I'm sure most of everybody enjoyed it, except for Denver fans. Anything else you want to add before we close?
No, I think I said everything. We covered all the highlights of the game. I'm excited for game 5.
All right, everybody, thank you for listening. If you guys enjoyed our new intro song, you guys can check out I Am Jordan. He just posted a music video for the song Rip City on YouTube. He's also got SoundCloud and Spotify, so you can check him out at any of those spots. It's called Rip City. Let's go ahead and let's get ready for Game 5. It's on Tuesday, I believe.
Yeah.
Tuesday's Game 5 in Denver. That's a big game. Let's get a win. I hope everybody enjoys this win tonight. And as always, Rip City, baby.
Man down, I set it off for P-Town. I came to ball out. Switch. Mode Santa, bring the crowd out. OG finna air it out. Center court, time to wild out. I started tapping my wrist. You know what time it is. Step back through the wave. Send her up to his grave. There's no pity in the city of roses. I got the city riding with me. Young Blazer, I'm focused. Focus on the prize. Fire in my eyes. I got the spirit of 77. Rip City, do or die. Critics doubted I'd never panic. I had to stay mellow. From the Pacific to the Atlantic, we set it off Inferno. Trailblazer, no Chevy. Catching fire like CJ. Whole team full of shooters. Dropping bombs like DJ. Set the net on fire. Crowd singing like a choir. Lillard jersey, my attire. Dane Sevens, never tired. RCTID, Portland raised me. RCTID, you can't change me. Red city. Red city. Hand down, man down. I set it off for P-Town. Hand down, man down. I set it off for P-Town.